and Madge are stalwarts of Ramsay Street.
We had a violently bad reaction to her last COVID shot, and she's really down to the count.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm starting to believe that a lot of what they're saying is true, and I'm a very angry man.
G'day folks, and a very angry man indeed he was. Not me today though. I've had a pretty good day out in the sun. Been a beautiful day around Brisbane, so if you've been lucky enough to be out in it, you've probably got a bit of a sunburn like I might have. I haven't really had a look at the arms yet. They just look old and wrinkly to me. But wherever you are, hope you're having a great night. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hello Angela, Aussie Sue's in the room. Chaos in our time is back in joining us. J1. Chris, hi, and look, you're all the early risers. Nick's in there. I think I've covered everybody. Pretty cool to get Patriot 101 joining us tonight. We haven't had him on in a little while, between him going to court and driving interstate and me driving interstate and staying away from the courts. We both had work to do, and this is the first time we've had the opportunity to catch up. So I'll get to Glenn very shortly. I just wanted to tell you a couple of little things, share with you where Michelle Lee is. So right now, she is, about that far, as you can see, off Cairns. I'm not measuring it terribly well here, but I can tell you it's under 650 nautical miles. And if we click on that, it'll bring up, tell us a course and whatnot. Now, I've been taking note of her actual positions. They'll do another set at 9 o'clock tonight, which is sort of 8 p.m. my time. I'll get another set of coordinates for her. She won't be rowing in the dark, so whatever she's doing at night, it probably won't be rowing. But you can see she has managed to keep a pretty straight course. And the last few days I've been watching her, she's had a pretty constant speed, about 1.5, occasionally the odd 2 knots. The seas aren't too big at the moment. However, the difficulty is she's being pushed north, as you can see. So if she continues this track, we're hoping for something to swing her down in here, which I think is the plan. Unless something massive happens out here and in this part of the Coral Sea, which sort of brings around the outer edge, then I think we're simply just going to see her pushing as hard as she can to get into Cairns. Now, that leads me to a few questions. If there are people watching us up north, definitely coming to Cairns. What we don't know is when. So Michelle's time frame at the moment is, as little as 4 weeks and as many as 6 or 7. The reason I say 6 or 7 is because there is a cyclone brewing up there at the moment, and she might be having to sit herself through that. And that'll mean another 10 days potentially where she doesn't do anything other than stay in her cabin. And we've discussed this before. If you don't know what Michelle Lee is doing at the moment, she's in a bit over 7 metre long, I think it is, rowboat, ocean-going rowboat. She has, 3 sets of oars, 6 oars, and she is rowing her way across the Pacific from Mexico. She left Ensenada, about 212 days ago. She was estimating less than 250 days to get here, which I thought was pretty good. On track for that. Certainly she is ploughing along, but she has hit 2 cyclones, as it turns out, once she got past Vanuatu, and that's pushed her north. And big sea conditions mean she can't row. So that's what's keeping her north at the moment. Hopefully she'll be able to pedal her way a little bit further south, and I'm sure Roger, the man who's routing her, will be looking for any kind of current and any kind of wind just to give her that little bit of extra assistance over the top of the water, bearing in mind that she has to row solo and unassisted. That means you can't even give her a roll of toilet paper, folks. So I'm looking for folks up in Cairns. If you have boats, we do want to go and meet Michelle, but we need to be very careful about how we do that. Yes, we can sit off her. We have to sit at some distance off her. So if you are planning on taking your boat out or taking a boat up to visit with her on the water, if you like, as she comes in, then be aware there could well be some restrictions put in place around her. I know there certainly are from her perspective, bearing in mind she has no control outside of a rudder and 2 oars. So we can't get in her way. She can't avoid us. And if someone touches her boat, someone touches her oar, it's all over. No record, because it equates to assistance for whatever reason, even if there was none given. So bear that in mind. I am very keen to get up there on a boat and go out and meet her and potentially, well, if we can find a boat big enough, go out and stay the night and come in with her the following day and film all that, bring it to you live. That's the plan. I'm not sure how far out that will entail and whether or not I can bring it to you live, but as long as there's mobile phone coverage, I'll be able to get service, and we should be able to bring you live coverage off the water of her last few kilometres at any rate before she makes it back to Australia after an epic voyage from Mexico to Australia, 14,500 kilometres. I am staggered by not just her strength and ability there, but her mental strength. I would have been terrified probably the moment they pushed me off, but yeah, very, very difficult. So you can keep track of Michelle. There is a thing called YB Tracker, and her particular tracker is called the Great Pacific Row, as you can see there. It works much better on a mobile than it does on a desktop. Can I just give you the drum? You can see a whole heap more. And then if you go to windy.com and you've got a second screen, if you like, you can actually see what she's going through at the moment, and wave-wise, wind-wise, everything. So very, very handy little app to be able to check off. Yeah, so going to be a great trip. Now, if you want to come along with us, we'd love to have you. We're going to leave from Brisbane, obviously enough, and head north. I think you'll need to be flexible with your times because I haven't got the vaguest idea yet what day, week even, she will come. And, of course, it's going to be Easter and it's going to be school holidays. Hopefully, probably not for her, but hopefully she will arrive later in April rather than earlier in April. She may arrive over the Easter weekend. She may arrive the week after Easter. She might arrive the week after Easter. It's possible that she might take longer than that because of what's going on with these cyclones. Now, if there is another one that winds up blowing across the top in the Coral Sea through the Solomon Islands or over New Guinea, then she's going to be smack bang in the middle of that, and she's going to wind up wherever she winds up, wherever the ocean takes her. With a bit of luck, it'll bring her closer, but there is no guarantee of that. Could take her 100 mile back. So, yeah, not real flash. Now, if you want to come along, let me know, carl@vofhq.com. We'd love to have you along the way. If you're bringing your own accommodation, even better. We're going to try and do a few shows along the road on the way up and on the way back, make a bit of a journey out of it, a bit of an adventure, and hopefully time it so that we can spend 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it needs to be, without it becoming too hellishly expensive. And that's really the biggest problem for the moment. It's 2.5, I think it's, a bit over 2,000 kilometres from Brisbane to Cairns. Might be just a bit further than that. It's further to Cairns from Brisbane than it is from Brisbane to Melbourne, to put that in perspective. Go away and fact check me, but I'm right. It's further to Cairns than it is to Melbourne from here. So if you want to help us get there, you can always donate at vofhq.com, or you can come and join us as a member. Hit the membership button, and we would love to have you on board, because I can tell you, you get to meet stunning blokes like this fella. You know, he turns up at our events occasionally, smiles a bit. He does it secretively, waves from behind pillars and under chairs. But that's what Intel guys do. Patriot 101, Glenn.
Good evening, Carl. Good evening, viewers. How are we? Going good? Can you hear me?
You're looking resplendent in purple. Resplendent. Yes, you're stunning. Yep, can hear you wonderfully.
Thank you.
You're looking great in purple.
Thank you. Yeah, that's sovereign. That's what
yeah,
that is.
Busy lately. Yeah, of course that is. I beg your pardon. Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Yeah, been busy. I haven't been in court, which is, unlike yourself and a few of our friends. But I have been busy running around doing a few other bits and pieces. We've been having some enlightening adventures tracking down all sorts of things related to the Australian Taxation Department the last week or three. So that's been very, very interesting. And of course, we've been talking a lot about buying gold and silver and the banks falling over. Now, Glenn, you and I have been talking about this for how long have we known each other now? A couple of years. And
a couple of years now.
We've been talking financial crash, real issues. Go out and buy gold, go out and buy silver, particularly buy silver if you can. And we've been helping people change their super over using Cass Smith and the Freedom Financial Services. It's not-for-profit business, folks. She plows that money back into the freedom business. And we can't thank her enough for getting behind it. If you want more info on how to do that, email me, carl@vofhq.com. We'll put you in touch with Cass and she can help you with super. And I can point you in the right direction, as well as Cass, if you want to go and buy gold or silver. Plenty of places you can do it. And Glenn, I know you've had a bit of experience. So apparently there's been a bit of a run in the last day or two over the weekend. And the first 2 days of this week, bullion sellers in Australia are having record days. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we talked about this back in 21. We were chatting about this, and pretty much we said there was going to be two banking systems that are going to be set up. There's going to be the gold back system, and then we're going to have the other deep state system, which is going to be the digital currency. We knew this was going to run along, and then people had to use their own discernment to which one's the right one to go for. And if you're fast asleep, you're just going to take whatever comes. That's how it goes. Yeah. So we're up to that stage now. As you can see, the pillars are being knocked out of their fraudulent banking system. So you could take out a couple of the main pillars and the buildings, it's going to fall because they've got nothing to repair it with. Their resources are drained. As we know, the upper echelons who are running all these banking systems are they're now being taken out. They've gone bankrupt, so they will soon have all their assets seized. There'll be nothing there. So it's going to come down to also the pressure of you've got the Five Eyes countries who won't sign over to this gold back. That's going to be the case, right? So these countries will be pressured so much because they won't be able to buy and trade with these other countries because they won't accept their fiat rubbish. All right, it's going to come to that, to the point where they're pressured that much that they have to sign. So eventually we're going to go to the gold back, but a lot of people are going to get tricked into this digital wallet rubbish for a while there. So it's up to the people at home, their discernment, do their research, check it all out. Don't believe us. We do our research, but you don't need to believe us.
That's right.
Check it all out. Have a look for yourselves because this is coming, guys. It's been coming for a little while now, and we were warned. And this will be a big crash. Once these banks go down, we're going to lose the stock market, and it's going to fall into a heap. And I do believe that there is a safety net in place, but there may be a lag between the switchover. So people are going to be ready, have cash on hand. We've heard all this before. Cash on hand, good food supplies, whatever you need. So don't be panicking, going to your ATM and going, I can't get money out, or going to the bank. Doors are closed because this is how it's going to go. And if you've got super, as you talked about before, it's pretty good chances you won't be getting it back. Pretty good chance you won't get it back. So
convert it now. Self-managed super fund, folks. Self-managed super fund. Get it.
Yeah. They've never been safe, these super funds. We know that for a fact. So, that's what we've got to do. Get your super, organise it yourself, and be safe. Because right now is a really, really dangerous time financially. We can already see the inflation. It's driven the prices up, and Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah. Now, how much of that is greed because the deep state have no cash? They can't print it anymore, and it's being chewed up at a phenomenal rate. The only place they can get it is from us. The banks don't have money, including, where do we get all our interest rate rises? The Reserve Bank. So why are they doing this cash grab? Oh, we've got to slow the economy down. Well, the economy is just about bloody dead. There isn't a great deal of people going out there spending a lot of money, is there?
No, and that's wise not to do that at the moment. So, it's almost dead. It's going to be a rough ride. There's going to be a bit. We were told early in the piece that the end of this ride's going to be rough. All right, so we just got to be prepared for that.
Yep.
To be a bit rough, but it's all for the better.
Somebody
You know, like
somebody in the chat has just put up a message that says, so can someone please tell me how to use gold or silver for everyday groceries? So I'm talking about silver particularly now, but you know, if you want to buy gold. But you can buy as little as an ounce of silver. Now, if the market goes, you can buy, I think you can even buy half an ounce at some places, but mostly an ounce. A coin is as low as you can go, and you can get it for about $37 or $8. Now, of course, if it's $37 that you've paid for it, you want to get $37 worth of value out of it. I know there are businesses in Melbourne that will let you have lunch and a coffee or two lunches and two coffees for a silver coin. Okay, they'll take the silver coin for that. So if you want to trade it today, you can trade it like that. So two people, lunch and two coffees, $40 at a Melbourne cafe. They'll take it quite happily. And there are a lot of businesses that will do that in multiples of that sort of figure. Now, if you want to do that, that's great.
Yes.
But the reason that most people are, if they're new to the market, are buying silver is because they've heard this story that the price of silver has been suppressed so much that when this global financial crisis, shall we call it, is going to strike, then the Comrex market, where it has been suppressed, will be opened up to the world, and the price of silver will go through the roof. So instead of the cost of 1 ounce of silver being $37, $38, $40, it might go to 10, 15, 20 or more thousand of dollars per ounce.
That's right. That's predictable.
So that's why people are saying buy it now. Okay, how are you going to go and spend? How are you going to go and spend a 1 ounce coin that's worth $40,000? All right, you're not going to go down to the grocery shop and do that unless inflation has gone through the roof. 100% correct.
Correct.
No, that won't happen.
Correct.
There will be coins and notes, won't there, Glenn? So
Yes.
do you want to explain how that system will work? And then, of course, there are gold sellers, gold buyers. So you walk in.
Right. Yep. Well, so the coins will be actual silver. The coins will be actual gold. Like, there won't be mixed metals in there. It won't be rubbish. You'll get what the value is in that coin. That's how it'll be. You'll have tokens instead of notes. There'll be notes. They'll look like our notes we've got now, but they'll be tokens. And each token will be worth what it's worth in gold. So there still will always be precious metal exchanges. There has been forever, like going back in time. There'll always be a precious metal exchange. We can go in there and trade your silver or your gold for tokens. And that's how the current. Sorry, I won't say currency. The money will be, because currency's the fraudulent. So, but in the meanwhile, what's going to happen? That's why we say keep cash on you. Is the fiat will still be able to be used. It's not going to completely go out of circulation until such a time as it's deemed no longer. So during that rough time, if you've got some cash on, you can still use that to spend, but you've got to prepare. You've got to be ready. It may not be rough as we think it's going to be, but you've got to have something there just in case. You know what I mean? So it's looking rough. Yeah. It's looking bad. No, that was a big bank to fall, and there's. Go ahead.
Well, I was seeing just before we came on air. I'll see if I can find the story again. There was a story of an Australian bank that was caught up now. It was more like a professionals bank, and I can't see it right now. Let me go back to the main page. Ostflex or something, I think it was called. Oh, there we go. That had been caught up after bank number 3 fell over in the US. Aussie company cashing in on bank collapse. There you go. So it's not falling over. It's making a shitload of money. So Australian fintech Air Wolex crashed.
Wolex. Yep. Well, you got to remember we've got other precious metals also besides gold and silver. So they won't just making coins out of gold and silver, because you'll have coins that'll be worth less, obviously. So we'll be using other precious metals, well, to make those coins that are worth less. You know what I mean? So, because it'd be very hard to get even a small gold coin is going to be worth a lot of money. You know what I mean? So you have to make it out of a metal that's worth a little bit less to make it that value less. You know, so that's how it'll be. But there'll be pure metals. It won't be this nickel rubbish that we're getting today. You know, like, so this is how I foresee it all changing. Anyway, that should be. That's how it should be. And so we've just got to prepare, guys.
And the other one to watch too is copper, because copper is, I think, silver is at like 31, 30. Let's say it's 31 troy ounces to make a kilo of silver. I think it's a bit over 35 troy ounces for a kilo of copper. And the kilo of copper, or copper price, is meant to be going the same way as gold and silver.
Absolutely.
So I wondered, Len, will we see Silverton opened up again after Mad Max 5 is finished filming out there?
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? I think so. Yeah. Definitely. But here's another thing about the copper.
They still say there's silver in the ground.
Well, here's the thing about copper, though. That's going to devalue a lot, because you think about once the new free energy comes in, the wireless free energy, which we'd promised, we'll be taking down all these power lines. Think of all the copper in those power lines right across the world. There's going to be a lot of copper that can be used.
Yeah, true.
So there's one thing you got to look at. So the copper will devalue a lot. So, but the silver, it's hard to find. You know, it's not as easy to find.
Don't start taking down the power lines yet, folks.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not till you got your little Tesla box on the side of your house. Yep. So that's where we're at with that.
No. Aussie Cossack tends to cover the war in Ukraine. Well, he's certainly doing it better than anybody else in Australia at the moment by a country mile. He's doing it from fairly just that he's not allowed to get out and about for fear that if he does step outside of the consulate in Sydney, he'll be arrested immediately and wind up in Silverwater or somewhere else for the duration of whatever argument he's going to be able to put forward. So he is to be commended for doing the brilliant job that he's doing. And he's had a couple of bombshell interviews this week, hasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, good on you, Simeon. You're really doing a bang up job there. It's unreal. He's a very clever man. He's only young. He's only 33. You know, like, and to put all that research into this. He was born here in Australia, guys. You know, like as much as he's got Russian blood, he's born here in Australia. So he's put a lot of research into knowing a lot more about Russia. You know, like, so hats off to him for it. You know, his bravery. He stands out there. Yeah, he has poked the bee's nest a lot.
I'm hearing stories. I'm hearing stories. The Australian Cossack Association that he is the ataman of is under a bit of pressure at the moment. You know, they're fighting off the trolls.
Trolls are going hard at the moment. So they're going hard on everyone, really, aren't they, Cole? So, you know, it's to be expected. You know, like that's when you know they're not liking what we're doing. You know, like they know when they know they're losing, they're going to put all their energy into debunking us and trolling us, and that's fine. That's all right. We expected it. It's nothing. You know, these guys got nothing. We have material evidence.
Yep.
All they're doing is they're throwing rubbish at us that they can't even justify. So, you know, so we're not even worried about them. You know, you just ignore the trolls, guys.
So true.
If you see the trolls, ignore them. You know, like that little kid at school, you know, that used to bully people. You just ignore them, and eventually they have nothing. So it's the best way to treat them, I believe. But yeah, we're all getting trolled and all that rubbish. But I'm not worried. Couldn't give a shit, really, to be honest. Yeah, so we've been up and down and doing courts.
Here is somebody. Just before we get into the courts thing, somebody said they bought one of my hats today, but was surprised at the amount of anti-cooker merch on the site. What's the go? Well, that is a cooker watcher who has set up a scam site. I have
Yeah.
160 hats only coming. You can only get them by emailing me. You can't go and buy any off a website anywhere, and not, well, you can. They're free to go and set up as many hat buys as they want on their website, but all the money from the hats that I'm selling are going to one person, so that medicine can be bought for her health. That is, well, we've got 160 hats. We might have a little bit more. There might be a few more that she's missed in a box. But outside of that, she's been caught with these hats, and she spent her own money, essentially, I think, to create these and get these made, and now left holding them. We want to help sell them, and we want to make sure that she gets her medication. Now, one of these cooker watcher types has gone and set up a fake site, got me, cut out one of my nights when I was talking about these hats, and uses my whole spiel on that, if you like, and then cuts out the part where it says email me at carl@vofhq.com if you want a hat, and then says go to whatever bullshit wanker link, Red Balloon, Red Bumble, whatever it is, and buy it there. So if you're going to buy a hat there, you are in fact being defrauded by a bloke who's not only stealing my image and my voice to sell his products, but he's stealing money off a woman who urgently needs medical stuff, and it's an ongoing cost, and it's a significant monthly ongoing cost. So that's what this money is for. But these cooker watchers think that that's funny. They think it's funny that she has to fight this disease. They think it's funny. They can't understand why she doesn't take the government-approved methods, which come for free, Glenn. Why wouldn't we go and take any medication from the government currently? But anyway, track record, they trust the science.
Yeah,
absolutely. If they would like to come down and put that juice in their arm, good luck to them. But there are other treatments effect on others in the past, and that's what's being worked on. So not that it's anybody else's business, but just be aware, the only place you can get stuff from the Voice of Freedom will be our website. I've got our site down at the moment simply because there's nothing there to sell. These hats will go on there, but I've got so many orders now in my inbox, I'm just waiting for them to arrive. Fingers crossed that'll be tomorrow or the next day, and I will start then emailing those folks with details on how they can pay for the hat, and we will go and get them sent. So once they're all gone, they're all gone. And the cooker wankers can go off and do whatever the hell they like. But that's the level of people, that's the level of troll we're dealing with, folks. They would take the money off a woman selling stuff to get medicine for a serious medical complaint. Yeah. I'm
let's pull that apart.
And they think it's funny. This bloke who's doing this sets himself up as a comedian, a political satirist. I know comedians. I've seen them have shits that are funnier and in larger audiences. So, this bloke isn't even close.
Well, on that note, on that note, Carl, let's pull that apart and have a look at that. So imagine if we did that to someone else. Imagine if we went in there to someone else.
Don't bother mentioning his name.
Yeah, we know there's a lot of people that, I'm not going to mention the name, but there's a lot of people that are copping the same thing at the moment with their merch and whatnot from the same people. So if we went to do that to someone else, we have the cops knocking on our door. So let's have a look at who these people are. You know what I mean? So it's obvious that that the ones that are supposed to be upholding the law are supporting what they're doing. So they're not doing anything about it, obviously. So you can go to the root of where it's all coming from. We can look at that. We can look at the police. We can look at ASIO. You can look at all them. So what side of the fence are they on in history? What side of the fence are you guys on in history?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I look at it. But that's okay.
And Glenn, on that. And Glenn, maybe we can do the reverse on this numpty, mate, because he claims that he's a stand-up comic of some note. So I'm going to find out where he's doing a gig, and we might just get a table of us to go along. I reckon I can out-heckle him. I reckon I can get him crying on the stage. Let's see how good he is, because that's all they're doing in our chat, heckling. So you want to throw stones? Get on your stage. I'll come to your show, fool.
Yep.
Let's see how cool you really are. We'll tear you apart from the beer and the tables, mate. They're, we'll heckle. You like heckling? I'll play that game with you all day, every day. So, keep an eye out, mate. Let's go to one of those shows. I'll fly across the friggin' country to go to one of those shows. I'll
come. Definitely let me know. 100% I'll be there. It's like that. It's like that show, The Project. Let's go there. Let's go to the show, The Project. They lie to us in our face, and then they cover it with comedy.
Yeah. And then they drag on something that
they're really not
I don't know if it's figured out what the fuck it is yet, but then it comes on, it insults Jesus, insults just about everything it possibly could. And then we get apologized to by Waleed. Really, how long's Channel 10 got, do you reckon? 18 months before they get sold?
Oh, look. We're the new media anyway, so it doesn't matter, I'd say so, yeah. Sooner the better.
Yeah, you
seriously,
probably got that right.
Yeah. Get these guys out of there, seriously.
Absolutely.
So how can you get up every day?
Sorry, keep going.
Sorry. I said, how can they get up every day and know they're going to work, look themselves in the mirror, do up their tie, and know they're going there to represent lies and fraud and to try and brainwash the people into believing it, and then try and cover it with comedy? What sort of a job is that? Who are these people? I don't get it. What is in their heads? Seriously. I don't get it.
Yeah. And I would simply say these are the kinds of people who don't think Monty Python are funny.
Yep. I would say so too.
My daughter and I have a code. If you don't, we might say things to you that are lines out of Monty Python movies. If you don't get it, we know what sort of person you are. Sort of.
Yep.
It's a joke between Laura and I. It's not a serious thing.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes. So we've been up and down to Victoria, been to the courts.
So
been up and down to Victoria.
A mutual friend.
So we must have a little bit of lag there.
Mutual friend was in. We got a huge amount of lag.
We've got a big lag.
Telstra again, I have no doubt. So we got a mutual friend who was in court yesterday, and I'm not sure if he's doing a show tonight or not. Didn't do one last night. He will be around, folks. He's actually running in an election, so he might, I think, focus a little more on the election. He's only got 3 weeks, and all you've got to do to support either any of the 18 candidates that are standing under the they're standing under U. That's where you'll find them, the letter U box on the ballot. Just put one in there, and you'll be voting for a set of really independent eyes to go into that upper house of New South Wales. And I don't know, Glenn, there are a lot of people who don't like voting, who don't like going out, don't like being called out, but they hate paying the whatever the fine is these days, probably $150 or more these days. So rather than going along and drawing a dick on the ballot, go and put a 1 in the box with you in it. And I got to tell you, that's going to make a big difference on the 25th. And we want people to vote on the day, yeah?
Yeah, because if you don't vote, or if you do, like you said, draw a dick, then all you're doing is what's called a donkey vote. So you're giving preference to who's in power. So we all know we don't want them in power anymore. So you really have to have your say this time, guys, because this is a really important time in history. This is where we all need to go, okay, let's get these 18 candidates in there because they're going in there to turn it upside down. And we need that right now. They're really putting their asses on the line, because they're entering the lion's den, as they say. Well, they're not lions, they're actually jackals. Entering the jackal's den
Yeah.
You know, and and it's not a very good place to be. Like this, they're going to be basically in a way contracted to this rubbish because they need to get in there. So it's hard. You know, it's a hard situation, and it's brave to do so. It's something I probably wouldn't do, but you know, like they seem to know what they're doing, and I've got a lot of faith in them, and they have a very good plan, and I've seen the plan, and it's fantastic. So yeah, we need to get behind Ricardo, Dave, and all the other 16 who are running for Senate, and we need to get them in there, guys. You know, just get in there. If you have to vote any time in your life, do it now. After that, once they get in, just go out there and cancel yourself off the elections if you want. We don't care. But till then, we need them in.
Yep.
So do your best, people. Do your best, please.
Yeah,
please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just don't waste your vote, folks. If you're not happy with the current government and you know that there's not going to be any difference if you were to change your vote and put the other bastards in, and you're wondering, well, what difference does my vote make? Well, this is the difference your vote can make in the upper house. It may be an historical vote. Okay?
Yeah.
And you can be part of it by simply putting one in the U box, or beside the U box, in the appropriate bit. But it will change one parliament particularly. But I think once we the people get 1, 2, 3, oh God help us, 18 sets of people's eyes inside that place, then just imagine what they will expose, and then imagine what could happen if we did that on a national level. And it can happen. We can unite it with Australia One, but, you know, for whatever reason, limited success in limited parts of the country. But everybody is understanding the My Place concept, the way that it works for us, all of us. It's a unified solution we can work towards. Maybe that's something we need to talk about in the future, but let's see what happens. I've got a really good feeling about it. I mean, I don't live in New South Wales, but I talk to a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people who don't like both of the contenders that we're talking about mainly, and they're willing to support them because they know if nothing else, they're going to get the absolute truth out of them.
Yeah. If you don't like Dave, don't like Rick, you know, like give them a chance to prove themselves to you. Give them that chance to prove themselves. Put them in there, and let them show you they are people of action. You know, so it might change your mind. That's all I say for that.
To the person who's asking, can I buy used silver ingots or pendants from a jewelry store? I would say I wouldn't. You don't know what they've been created out of, unless you see the stamp on them that says they're 99.99%. And even then, anybody can get a stamp. So no, I would go to a trusted bullion dealer. I wouldn't be going to a jeweler to buy used ingots. Bullion dealers get used silver all the time, whether it's come out of an estate or somebody's just had it a long time and has decided to sell it. I have seen I think in our show that we did with Ainsley Bullion, we showed one that was really old, really dirty, not shiny in any way, shape or form. And the thing is, if you've got old silver like that, don't clean it. All right. Don't take anything abrasive to it to clean it. Don't clean it. They don't care. Nobody cares. When you go to sell the silver, nobody cares how shiny it is. They only care how much it weighs. So you taking some kind of cleaning agent to your silver to make it look nice and shiny is gonna cost you money. So do not clean your silver, and I imagine that works the same for gold. Correct. You can ask for all new shiny ones if that's what you want. There's no problem with that. But I wouldn't go to a jeweler. I have heard that if you are selling gold or silver, then occasionally, at times, sometimes maybe, I don't know anything about this, not advice, just hearsay. If you go to a manufacturing jeweler, you can get a better price than the spot price you will get at a dealer. So but they might update every 3 to 15 minutes. Okay, so they'll always monitor what the price is doing, and that is the price you will get. It doesn't matter whether it's a shiny coin with something stamped on it, something really cool, looks great, doesn't matter. It's still 1 ounce of 99.99% pure silver. That's all they pay on. They don't pay on the graphics or the artwork.
That's correct.
So you can take any silver in any shape. Yeah. So play that game.
And generally the old.
But as I say, you can.
I was just going to say, generally the antique stuff, you know, if you're looking for silver, you find something that's really old, it's generally going to be silver. You know, like you get the newer stuff, it'll be mixed with other alloys or whatnot generally. So you get a lot of impurities and that. There's a lot of people who have got shonky silver you can buy, you know, and it's got mixed alloys in it, but they don't tell you. So you really got to know who you're buying off, and you got to do your research. And
true.
We're not. So you got to ask other people. ABC, apparently ABC Bullion's a good place to buy from.
So.
From what
ABC, Ainsley. There are Ainsley Bullion. I mean, that's my only experience has been Ainsley, but can I tell you it has been top notch 100%. They always have a really good stock on hand. I got to see a bit of the stock one day. I was in there filming there a little while ago. I got to go in and have a look in the vault. And I got to say, it's a pretty impressive site. So stock is the big thing. You want to be buying it and having it in your hand. Yes, it is, you know, able to be delivered. You can buy online. Well, I know you can through Ainsley. You can buy online and have it delivered to you. It's only the cost of a Star Track to do it. It's secured, post-tracked, and insured. So if it does happen to go missing, you haven't lost out. The others I haven't had any experience with, so I can't vouch for that end of it, but I'm sure they do something similar. I also know that there are a couple of Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast sellers who've opened up recently as well. I have no experience with those. Kaz was on the show last week. She said she's had, I'm pretty sure it was with the Sunshine Coast one, she's had some experience for the last year or so with them, and it's all been thumbs up. So that's all cool, and I have no experience with the one on the Gold Coast, but I would only buy your bullion from a recognized and experienced bullion trader. Someone who's been around for a while. I know Ainsley have been around for over 10 years. I'm sure ABC have been around a long time. Perth Mint are suffering at the moment. They are suffering a crisis of confidence. So I'm sure that will be restored probably as soon as the people of Western Australia throw McGowan out at the next election or sooner. God love us. He was in charge of the chicanery and the fuckery that went on at the Perth Mint. He was the minister in charge of the Perth Mint at the time all this happened, of course, and now is backing away, doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want the mainstream media to talk about it. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. The Perth Mint is probably not selling a great deal of gold or silver at the moment, and people who have bought from there might be looking at it and querying it and wondering if they should go and get it tested. But it is important to understand that the Perth Mint never did anything illegal, and they were still putting forward 99.99% pure gold and pure silver bars. All right, that 0.01% is all they get to change, and all you can change in gold is the amount of copper, I think, and the amount of silver that you can put into it. So, and that will, silver, and that would be such a 15th of an amount that to you, man, the gatepost, it means probably nothing, but it meant a saving of nearly $700,000 a year to the Perth Mint. That's what it meant.
Right.
So they got to keep $700,000 with a little bit of gold. Bit under 600 and something. So that's where they shaved that little bit out. And unfortunately, because the Chinese or the Shanghai Gold Exchange was ordering the gold, it had to be basically baked to their specifications, poured to their specifications. cooled to their specifications, and then sent to them. And I don't know how many, but a few bars were lacking in that 0.01% range. But once again, important to understand, Perth Mint did nothing illegal, right? Did nothing illegal. Is it good business practice with one of your biggest clients? No. That raises a whole other question. Should the Shanghai Gold Exchange be one of the biggest gold buyers in Australia?
Well, there you go. Once again, foreign invested. We've got to get rid of this foreign invested stuff, guys. We've got to start trading back in our country again. You know, everything's got to stay here.
Yeah, Russia and China are stockpiling gold. Last year, China bought over 60 tons of the shit from us.
Correct.
And they're buying it from other parts of the world too. I often find myself wondering, where is Parker Schnabel's gold going?
We wouldn't. Yep, I know where you're going. I know you're going with that. Yeah,
you'll only get that if you're a Gold Rush fan. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, we'll just have to. We'll just have to wait and see.
It's a matter.
Intel-wise, what are you hearing? What's going on in the world?
Well, okay. Well, we know that the Supreme Court in America have had the military approach them and told them they have to hear the Brunson case. So that's going ahead, and that should be a good result because they've got a lot of pressure on them now from the military. Yep. So there's one big plus. We've seen the Tucker Carlson.
Well, is that coercion? 6th. They're going to say.
Oh yeah. Well,
they're going to say that's coercion by the military to make.
No, they're just telling them they have to hear the case because it's within the law. You know, they need to be heard. So they told them they can't pull shonkies.
Yeah, right.
They're watching. So they're not making them hear the case.
Do we have a date?
No, I don't have a date on that. I will get that back to you. I'll run that on my channel, once I find a little bit more out about that. But they do have to hear it.
That's good.
Yep, and they have to hear. They have to hear it.
And it has on Telegram, folks. That's his channel.
Yep. And it has to be fair. They have to hear it, and it has to be a fair case, and has to run as according to the law. So they have to take into account all the evidence.
Yep.
So they're being watched. So because they did, there's a big win. So that's going to show a lot of things. That's going to have Trump back in power, I believe. But you've also seen Tucker Carlson with the January 6th video footage, and he's released, and that's good work, Tucker. What he's done there. So he's basically shown them letting him in, and it's ridiculous. It's such a bloody shit show. What's going on?
It's comical, crazy. Isn't it? It's absolutely comical, and we would be laughing, except it is so serious because Tucker Carlson has also shown exactly what the Democrats cut together and allowed mainstream media to rotate for the last 2 years, saying, look at the horror, look at the unruly crowd, the rioters, the dead who was apparently bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher is directing around people inside the Capitol 2 hours after his reported death.
Yeah.
And Chuck Schumer can still come out and call Tucker Carlson a bad person.
Oh my God, these people seriously
hang on a minute, I got something for that.
Oh, good. Put that up.
There you go. That's what Chuck Schumer had to say. Rupert Murdoch has an obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on TV tonight. We must stop free speech in order to protect it. Don't know that last line is a quote from him directly.
Oh, they're idiots.
But the rest of it is,
Oh, they're idiots.
Absolutely disgusting. And the fact that there are people silly enough to believe it.
Yep.
And we're having a bit of a chat with the Cranker the other night, Saturday night, and he's saying that. Sorry, mate.
No. You go because the lag got me there. So you go. You keep going. You're right. Continue on.
He's saying that this week we're going to see a lot more of the intel we've expected to see in the last 2 years coming to fruition. I guess he was referring to the bank crashing, but there are other black swan events happening in the world at the moment. remember, while this financial thing is happening in America, what is actually going on in Ukraine? Now, I've heard NATO are very quietly backpedaling in Ukraine. Zelensky is about to roll over because he's an actor and nobody's paying him anymore. Nobody's sending him gold. The money that he has been sent, he spent. He's bought himself a $31 million property in Florida. He's going to be Donald Trump's neighbor. Well, that's probably an exaggeration. But
can it get any worse? This show,
but he's a bit concerned. The money's dried up, and so have the weapons.
Yeah. Oh,
soon, brother, soon.
Wow. I mean, how are people not awake now? Is what I ask. How are people not awake when they can see all this rubbish? Since when has Russia? Since when has Ukraine been a superpower? They're not a superpower. So how are they going to beat Russia? Can people not see that sitting at home? Come on, guys! Like these people sitting at home that think that
people
Ukraine's
not understand
Russia.
that Russia built everything in the Ukraine. Russia built everything. That's where they know. That's why they know there are biolabs there, because they built the nuclear hardened underground shelters the biolabs are in.
Yes.
That's why Russia is fighting for them, because they know what's inside there and they know what's been manufactured there by the West. Under license from fucktard Fauci.
Yes, well, we can go there with him. Mother Teresa's son, isn't it?
No.
Mother Teresa's son, apparently, they say.
Yeah, I think that's the one, yeah. Mate, Yeah, I saw a thing today that had a whole heap of big name stars and who their other half is. There are apparently a whole heap of trannies in the world people are going to get shocked by. So the unmasking or the deboobing, I don't know which way you're going to put that, is going to be interesting.
Oh, we have what's his name, Obama and Big Mike coming over to Australia. You're here to Sydney, apparently.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh yeah, they're coming to Sydney. But the Big Mike that I saw on the last ad looks like a girl this time. So it looks like they've gone and found a girl, Big Mike. Put in the place. Yeah, it looks like a lady one. So yeah, it doesn't look like Obama either. Yeah. So they're coming to Sydney. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Well,
well, it's definitely not him because we know he's not there anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. Coming to shake elbow with his most recent bribe, probably. What did you make out of the AUKUS agreement with the three fools standing on stage in San Diego today or yesterday, whatever it was?
Same as I make with all their bloody idiot stuff they do. Oh, my God. You know, I just shake my head, Carl. I cannot believe that we're watching this now. Like, can you believe, like, if you go back 2 years, 2.5 years ago, would you have even thought we'd be in this situation watching this show now as it's playing out? We were talking about this the other day.
No, it certainly would
it just keep every day there's something new that makes you shake your head. Ugh.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
People were concerned about that. Absolutely. People were concerned about that Joe Biden, AUKUS meeting thing. They didn't like him being, near deep water. So word is that the coat jacket he had floaties inside it, just in case he fell off. So he was be able to paddle around. I would suspect that there'd be floaties in other parts of the suit as well if he fell off. But he is of that age after all. But they do wear a nice snug nappy these days for older people in that situation. So you have a bloody good one. Thank you for all the efforts that you are doing. Glenn, for those who don't know, is a common law expert. And, is happy to help. Just
correction. No, I'm not a common law expert, and I'll never be an expert.
All right.
Yep. But what we are is a fraud expert. So we know the fraud. So we don't see here's the thing, and this is where I'll
Yeah.
go with this, and it's pretty good. See, everything they saw people running to the common law, they saw people running to everything they've designed. You know, because they had their maritime law, which is their new deck of
Yeah.
cards. They knew and foresaw this before they put the attack on us, right? So
Yeah.
they were ready. So what they do, they allow a few wins with those things like the common law, and everyone runs to that, flocks to that. Then all of a sudden they start hammering you. They're like, okay, that's our old deck of cards. You can play with that if you like. We've got the new one, and it's stacked against you. All right. So what these courts are operating under, and what they have to answer to, I should say, is trust law and contract law. Remember, guys, these are corporations. They are held to contract law and trust law. They know they're bound by that. So this is the one thing that is hitting them. And it's the one thing that is hurting them, because they need to answer that. They cannot contract with a living man. They're a corporation. So in order to contract with you as a living man, they've got to turn you into a vessel, which is why you've been birthed on a birth certificate. You become a ship. So this is how the fraud works, guys. So they're pretty much holding us under these birth certificates, which are a fraudulent contract. You know, once we know that birth certificate is designed to do that, and we know that that's fraud, we can then go ahead and become the executor and the beneficiary of that legal fiction name. So they cannot have that name or use that name without consent.
Yeah. People go and either have a look at one of my shows from last week. It's last Wednesday or Thursday's show.
There's a little method going in.
It'll point out how Australians live in the margin. Nope.
And
looks like you're going. Maybe I'm going too. Yep. So see whether or not we can bring him back. A little bit of a clear. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I think we covered just about most things. I can't see you now, Glenn. I don't know if we can hear you. Don't think so. So that hasn't worked by whatever reason. He might just try and log back in, see if that works. But at any rate, we're nearly gone an hour, folks, so I won't keep you up too much. Yeah, there are some pretty interesting things happening in the world. We're not seeing any real news on mainstream media about the financial industry in America. Now, you must understand, while we have a few banks and 4 big ones, they have hundreds of big ones and thousands of little ones. Now, most of the big banks in America are probably not going to be affected, but a good number of the little ones, and in some of those little ones, a lot of money, like the Silicon Valley Bank, had a lot of money go through it. Who's in Silicon Valley? Apple, Google, all the big tech. Tesla, got to think that's a pretty big bank. A lot of money in there. Was there money in it? Don't know. But they've come up a few $100 billion short of the money that they've owed people. So it has been guaranteed by the US government, which is great. It's a government guarantee. And so far, the 3 that I'm aware of, could have been more since this morning, US banks that have gone down, have closed their doors for good, have been confirmed as closing their doors for good, are going to be government guaranteed for much out of it. Some good news out of the FDA. So in their roundup for March 10, the FDA has issued notice addressing the agency's COVID-19 related guidance documents, including which of those guidance documents will no longer be in effect after the expiration of COVID-19 public health emergency, that they're taking down the COVID regulations. When do we think they might take down the COVID regulations? Pardon me. Well, it's not going to happen until May the 11th. Going to have to wait for that. But they are going to continue doing tests, doing treatments, doing research, doing whatever they need to do, even after that date if they need to. There are some interesting bits in here to take note of. It's said to expire, the Public Health Act, on May the 11th. The FDA notice addressing the agency's COVID-19 related guidance documents, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, Table 3, which is listed down there, lists the guidance and EUAs that will, for all intents and purposes, be continuing past the May 11 expiration date. That table is quite extensive, but below is an image of a selection. So this isn't all of them, it's just some of them. And this one down here says, he's just trying to blow it up a bit, FDA guidance on conduct of clinical trials of medical products during COVID-19 public health emergency. That's interesting, I think. Also note the EUA for the vaccines develop licensure will continue on until the start of the next winter. So there we go. Nothing much changes. Everything changes, sort of thing. I don't know. It's quite weird. But at least the FDA are letting that go. That might mean that if you are unjabbed and want to get into the United States of America, you might be able to do it without having to go to Mexico and paying a coyote to take you across the southern border. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Avoid the submachine guns and the, well, I think you only get the submachine guns on the cartel side. Well, that's the Mexican cartel side. Once you get to the American cartel side, the one that Joe Biden runs, you get no problems at all. 3 squares a day, probably quite a few bucks in your bank, and a free plane flight to anywhere in the country they decide they're going to give you a house in, as long as you vote Democrat. Just saying. It's the way it should be. Scum everywhere, folks. Scum everywhere. And we have to clean it out. Vote for Bosie and everybody in the U box in New South Wales, folks, in the upper house. Vote 1 in the U box. And it'll be a vote for at least some people who are going to tell us the truth of what's going on in that place, and hopefully in the not too distant future, a lot more places. Thanks for coming on tonight, folks. If you want to help us out, we would gratefully appreciate it. Certainly getting up to be there for Michelle Lee's arrival is about the most important thing I've got on the cards. I would like to get the Galactic Larrikins to come as well, because I need the help, to be honest, but they live in Canberra. That's even further for them to drive. A lot of fuel to pay for, and a few nights in the odd motel where we can at least get Rob to have a shower, because after about 2 days, it gets a bit pong. Just saying, rattle around a bit. But yeah, if you want to help us out, please help us out. VoFHQ.com. There's a donate button there, or if you would like to join us as a member, you can join for as little as $1.25 a week, and it all comes out, I think, weekly. I'm not really sure. We don't have a huge amount of members, so if that's the way benefit at this juncture, but we will get a benefit at some stages. I'm having some talks with people about t-shirts. These ones will be sold through my website, not the Cooker Wankers website. Although, maybe if we've got somebody who's got a terminal illness and they would like to try and make a joke of that and sell some product and donate that to them, the proceeds of that to these sick people, happy to help put you. Some days, folks, you just want to get out there on the roads and spot those dickheads. Have you ever dreamt about having a big bulldozer blade on the front of your car?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!